Malenia, Blade of Mikola, daughter of Queen Medica and Radagon, famed Scarlet Rot demigoddess, undefeated swordswoman, and most renowned and acclaimed fighter arguably in the lands between, to arguably being the most skilled in the entire verse. First is Metro Man, last son of his own race, famed hero and undisputed GOAT of most people's childhood, the hero of Metro City, and most importantly the Markiplier of the verse. Two characters that are in similarities of being two characters that have been misrepresented, misunderstood, underappreciated, and there's a lot of complications and big errors in a lot of people's thought process about both of these people. These people have been wrongfully showed, have been, again, like I said before, misrepresented, and in case of representation of their power scan or even character. Take of also the fact of being two characters of very unique, love and fan bases. And I know it's a weird case versus battle. There's going to be a lot of bigger things to be talking about for even why I haven't had these two, fighting. But in the case for the core reason for why, it's simply put, like I said, they both are characters that a lot of people do not understand deeper shit about. And I wanted to go ahead and make this video to number one, say stop glazing one of them, start appreciating one of the other people, but most importantly, just get your facts straight. I'm here to go and educate you, talk about why these characters are not only dope, but also very powerful in their own individual right. But most importantly, to explain why it is not close. I hope you guys will enjoy. Let's go and get it in. Malenia is the daughter of Queen Medica and Radagon, two people who are mixed to believe were not the same at birth or at first. They were formed to each other by the greater will to create something of greater purpose, or have them both be tied to the same fate, as Queen America was trying to differ from the Golden Order, while someone like Radagon was trying to be the ultimate warrior of it. Through them being together, they had different cases of varying children, with the first being the case of Mesmer, which is arguably mixed interpretation to be either a asexual child of Queen Medica, or be Queen Medica and Mesmer's first child in between a multi-case at different time, which is very weird, but it's Elden Ring lore get crazy just to keep going on forward. Queen Medica and Radagon's iconic children are the two twin prodigies, Malenia and Mikola. Them both being twins, they're supposed to be of the same age, but Malenia would actually grow more formally, but would be cursed with the Scarlet Rot, a curse from an outer god of a whole different type of proportions of strength, and being next to Frenzied Flame, one of not in grand scale devastation to the lands between on a core baseness, the most terrifying. As Scarlet Rot is a disease that is a manifestation to the mind and does a bunch of different devastation to one's soul, it seems like in the mix. Not in a conceptual sense, but pretty much is the ultimate plague like no other. Imagine Black Plague and COVID. And this was shown in the means of Caelid, where it done an atomic level amount of devastation, nuked the plane, and eradicated everything off the senses, making it literally look like Florida. That right there would alone be a country level feat with the mass, in case of obviously proportional size, of all of Caelid, and just the pure fact that Malenia, with doing this, changed the entire case of atmosphere and the land and a bunch of different aspects of it that would make it at low end a country level thing to reasonably multi-country, depending on how you perceive what a full blossom of a goddess of rock could do. But that's just left alone right there. Malenia, though, like her brother, is cursed, with him being cursed with eternal youth, even though being possibly hundreds of thousands of years old will always look like a child. Malenia would go about trying to understand Scarlet Rot on a fundamental level, trying to keep it stagnant, trying to keep it always at bay, not just for herself but those around her. And because of her Scarlet Rot, she has cursed different parts of the Hallock tree, or even places like obviously Caelid. And with that Scarlet Rot being a big effect on not just how she's been seen, being feared, being terrified of what she can do, this also has big damaged her psychologically and physically, as the Scarlet Rot has cursed her so much as ate away at her normal proportional body parts, taking away her right arm, taking away parts of her leg, and obviously making her blind. Now, how she's able to fight blind is because a random blue wandering swordsman took pity on her and taught her the ways of the sword, and allows her to have so much resilience even against all possible adversity against her, to be able to fight with a blade that's literally one along with her. She was granted prosthetics, aka granted augmentation, by her little twin brother to allow her to be able to fight so skillfully and proficiently, even with her being, at always disadvantage. With that being said, she would get an augmented right arm that is attached with a blade that is one with her body, and showcase her being one of the most skilled, efficient swordswomen in the entire lands between, being undefeated, being a fierce, efficient, never defeating general that is able to body anybody in her way across the lands between, as she was the main dominating figure in the case of the shattering, going across all the lands between, all the way from the Halletree at the bottom of the mountaintops of the giants, and laying siege and smackdown to anyone that got in her way, making a bitch of Godric, which is not too hard to do, and multiple times being stated by not just people in verse, by Sir Gideon, who is a very big knowledge keeper and renowned dude in knowledge, right? As stalking us, knowing the capabilities of these different demigods, and even taking aspects of their capabilities, stating to be the ultimate warrior, a demigoddess like no other, running from multiple people, and no other demigod arguably except for the mixed bag most renowned people like Mesmer, Radon, Morgoth, and most importantly Godwyn the Golden could be on the same extremes and fame of her. But the pure fact of her skill being so much of these high revered stands, that makes her be someone to not be trifled with. Eventually, she would come to blows with her older half-brother, Starscourge Radon, Conqueror of the Stars, King of the Battlefield's Lion, the Red Fame Boy himself, the GOAT. They would lock horns in combat, and was said by Ronnie multiple times stated to be the mightiest demigods of the Shattering. With Radon being older, stronger, and having way more capabilities like no other, this would then again make her be one of the most strongest demigods, to being the strongest by a statement said where if Malenia was not tired, battered, and bruised from the countless fighting across the Shattering and the battle in Caelid, that she could have either had the same fate as in the means needing to blossom and take out Radon, or it could have been a more decisive victor, as they stalemated / drawed, as again Radon and Malenia fighting in the Shattering had a lot of stuff going on, but Radon was more of a physical stand, aka being more physically ready, while someone like Malenia was more down and out, and when taking up her prosthetic arm was not on the same means. And this is said by a co-director to producer of Elden Ring, right, as known by Miyazaki, has all the proof in the pudding and all different accounts in Revel. So, as I explained in my shameless plug, Radon versus Malenia, who was stronger in Y video, I explained that Malenia countless times has multiple revered statements and scaling and assumption of matter for being way more stronger than what is shown in game, and same time being obviously stronger than Radon for multiple reasons, especially with the fact that, simply put, Shawty is just a very built different swordswoman, and no one in the verse should arguably be able to scale to this skill and same time fame, except for the people I mentioned before, which even then Malenia has all the criteria to build the best, especially when we consider her ascension into godhood. But yeah, simply put, Malenia is definitely built for fights like no other, and is just an ultimate fighter, to say the least, right? But it isn't just in her blossoming the scaling to, Radon, who, because of conquering the stars and controlling stars of such a vast regard, would make her going from low M, like multi-dwarf store level like capabilities, or consistently and reasonably because of how much vastly his stars are. The case of him, capturing and defeating, besting, shattering, crushing, star controlling, nebula making aliens in Astal and the star destroying beast, would make Radon reasonably a multi-solar system to universal level character at a bare minimum. She's able to harm him, he's able to do these things to these people, and using the stars or not, and whatever with his gravity magic, which has been shown in the fight, reasonably should make that be the case. Ty will also just the pure fact that obviously she is able to, scale to these things by the greatest regard with harming and obviously giving him stage 69 brain cancer. That would give her reasonable scale there. But what really gets both of them to reasonably universal and a great deal of people is the fact that Ronnie has a statement about being able to create a universal pocket dimension in the second phase of Ranala, with a statement given by Hidetoki Miyazaki himself, where he states that, simply put, he wanted the universe to come alive within her second phase, and with that being said, be shown through magic. There's also the fact that glintstone magic comes from different important parts of the universe is explained in greater detail. There's how with the fact that, all these people having a split part from Queen Medica and Radagon, who are all, grace of power of the greater will, especially because the Elden Ring is life in the lands between, not just the tarnished, but mixed bag perception to also be a way to give greater preservation and at the same time balance to people, which is more of a, cosmology factor that doesn't necessarily tie into full way of actual power stand, but you can give reasonable criteria to simply say that yes, Malenia, like others, should be scanning from a multi-solar system to universal scale. When it comes down to speed, it should be obvious that with Radon being able to scale to stars and other things along those lines, that simply put, Malenia should be able to be scaling on the good deal mid relativistic to multiple times faster than light on a great deal of reason, as being able to scale and combat people that's able to make nebulas crack up to stars randomly at this speed, being able to scale to stars, compete with that, shown in the case of Concert Radon's, boss fight, where he's literally beaming off light, moving at the speed of light consistently. That should reasonably make her, like them and everyone else, be reasonably massively faster than light. Now, when she's in Goddess of Rot, she gets astronomically way stronger and not very, countable sense, where she is, without a doubt, the strongest arguable demigod to demigoddess, except for arguably Concert Radon, which is a very debatable topic that I already explained a little bit of my opinion about that in my, shameless plug, Radon versus Malenia video. But simply put, she, with all her hacks, K abilities, speed, and ridiculous level of skill, should reasonably be, way more beyond comprehension for most people. And with that being said, Malenia will be popping off into more hacks than she already has, with not just having great skill set, having obviously Blossom, but being able to create clones, Daner super speed, Blossom and tornadoes, rot poison, rot manipulation, different after image capabilities, and Shawty can fly, shit like that, But yeah, that's it for Malenia. Time to talk about Metro Man. John, aka Metro Man, the last son of a distant planet swallowed by a black hole, where a neighboring planet of high intelligent blue people will send their last son as well, Megamind, with him to Earth. Both of them will live different lives, one becoming a hero, one becoming a villain. Metro Man will be seen as a Superman of the verse, being the most profound, hailed, and revered hero in the verse, and the strongest of the entire verse. As he would upscale everything that Megamind could create, he would upscale Titan, who only has scraps of his DNA from a cape of his, which again has no blood, no remnants of anything, as he faked his death when Megamind was using literally the concentrated power of the sun, taking a great deal of solar energy from it and concentrating it in an eradication beam, trying to kill him, which by again multiple cases statements and even the questioning by Goji Chronic, who I want to shout out for some of the scans of different in-depth knowledge, question one of the lead creators of Megamind about if Metro Man could survive the concentrated beam of the sun, and he said he probably can. So with that being said, that would reasonably give jurisdiction, aka not just reasonable value, in him being able to survive it. With all that being said, the little scrap DNA that was given to Titan to even make him is so low in comparison that even though Metro Man never actually faced Titan, it is multiple times narratively said that Metro Man is way beyond the comprehension of Titan, and the scrap DNA of Titan would pretty much be, in comparison, a country level mass of power, as Metro Man upscaling every weapon by Megamind is pretty consistent, with not just the values of it being ranging from large building level to, with nuclear weapons, being city to multi-city, or to high vastness of different capabilities, being reasonably country level and grandstand. Now, Metro Man, because of the fact that he overscales the case of obviously the concentrated beam of the sun, will give him reasonable value and being a multi-country level person. As you see with the scans and multi-calcs show, the concentrated beam of the sun would be ranging between the matter of at the lowest record of N be considerably a multi-continental at low N to being reasonably multi-continental plus because of the multi-vast range. But because of the concentrated beam power of the sun, you could try to go ahead and higher rank this, but this is as consistent and reasonable as it goes. And proof to say that even though, yes, he did not get hit by this, the fact is that, again, we take in the statements that he's more powerful than anything made by this man, Megamind. They're showcasing with the case of this robot that was made to literally be the freaking sentinel, like freaking Hulkbuster to Metro Man, be a counter to him in almost every way, survive with just the head of the same concentrated beam of the sun that he used against Metro Man and Mind to kill him. The robot's head survived, showcasing that, again, Megamind can create being slash case of, technology, able to survive that. Metro Man's supposed to upscale that, so again, he should be multi-continental pretty casually. When it comes down to speed, he has the iconic speed fee of just using his super speed to be able to just pretty much no diff, not just the sun's beam, but make everything seem slowed down in time, making him look like the Flash with everything slowed down to the point where you can have a whole midlife crisis in possibly approximately 5 seconds, seeing everybody slow. And in his, youth, aka when he was a baby, he was able to see Megamind at massively faster than light speeds. So depending on how you perceive that within a matter of perception and cognitive dissonance and comparison, that would reasonably give him a lot of credence in being at this end. Low end, you could say, is, relativistic plus, but reasonably should be scaling multiple times faster than light. And again, all the calcs on screen should provide that. When it comes down to hacks and capabilities, him like his Superman counterpart, with him being inspiration for obviously his existence or some Homelander activity, he would have heat vision, super speed, flight, super strength, invulnerability, possibly X-ray vision. He's able to see things on a hypercase level, which with just his super speed will give him that. But you could say heightened senses of a massively different perception. And yeah, but again, his Superman counterpart inspiration would pretty much have almost all those capabilities. And you could stretch that with him being like Superman, that he possibly doesn't need to worry about breathing in space. He doesn't get his powers from anything. He's just godlike. And he doesn't have any weaknesses. No, copper is not his weakness. So you can't just throw pennies at him and that man start fragging. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Metro Man. But as you see on the title of the video, and if it's an obvious, if you pay attention to the first half of this, Malenia wipes the floor with Metro Man. Not only from the fact that she is way ridiculously way more stronger than him in a physical sense, but also just the pure fact that she, even if she could be arguably slower than him, arguably massively faster than light, as the thing is that this man Metro Man is able to see things in his own youth way ridiculously faster than what she could possibly ever muster, as he was seeing things on a hyperly faster than light scale when he and Megamind were traveling from planets in mix of escaping a black hole, right? That was said to be, in the case of the novelization of Megamind, even referenced in the movie, to be light years and light years away from Earth. So if he's able to see himself and same time this man Megamind and that type of speed at a normal sense, that would then give credence in that. There's also the fact of obviously his super speed and all that being a little bit more higher up, and if you wanted to stretch that, he's a little bit more deeper into massively faster than light, while someone like Malenia is a little bit tad bit only reaching hundred thousands, while this man Metro Man, you could say, is pushing dang near a million of times faster than light. But even with that, he can never harm her. He can never do anything truly to her. Mixed with her skill, speed, and accolades and multiple different things, he could not actually do anything sufficiently to her to actually put her down. Tie with, again, the fact that Metro Man, even with all his greater accolades of, possible, hacks to be used in correspondence with his speed, Malenia's hacks and or dubious capabilities of speed and same time strength and mixing of if she actually goes about blossoming, I would like to say that there's no way for Metro Man to actually get out of the possible range of that if we take in the fact that it can expand to a country level's worth. And if she goes into the Goddess of Rot, we don't even know how much more dummy amounts of time that could possibly do in the matter for actually, exposing him to Scarlet Rot. And yeah, no matter what Metro Man does, he's getting fathered. If you equal the stats, he might have a better chance, but with equaling the stats means equal speed. And from Malenia's skill, her proficiency, her technique, the fact of her skill in comparison to other powerful people, and the fact that at the end of the day, she can go ahead and do a lot of more crazy shit than what this man Metro Man could possibly do. And the fact that she was able to scale to someone like Starscream Dradon, who's able to pull all these different, way more crazy hack-like stuff, would reasonably give her the credence to say not only that she is way more out of his league, but also give the credence to being way more of a spiral, different type of form of powerhouse than anything that Metro Man has ever faced. Even if Metro Man has never been hurt, scarred, or whatever in his own verse, that does not mean that we're going to be able to stack to someone of this demigod scale. Now, to conclude this video in full, the reason why I haven't made this video was not this to shit on, Metro Man, as was even my purpose. I did want to go ahead and show how powerful he could be. With this being said, some people, obviously lowballed this man Metro Man, and people across the versus battle community do think that he's featless, and I want to go ahead and showcase, like my boy Godsking, shout out to him, that he's not only very powerful, but also a guy not to be, underestimated, right? And he could sock a great deal of different people, and especially on his speed. But I also did this because of the fact that I had a random question to one of my buddies, you know who you two are, about who would win, Starscream Dradon or Metro Man. And even though it most likely was a joke, because obviously Metro Man is the GOAT, the single-handedly, original meme of again with Markiplier with the right hand, it's the fact that just because Metro Man can do that speed feat does not disperse the capability for other people in fiction or just in general to be able to, be on his level of either AP or above, or even on speed or above. So that's kind of the only reason why I made this, to be fair. Again, no disrespect to Metro Man or anything like that. Regardless, though, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace out, Army. Love y'all.